Hi everyone, I'm Daniel Wirtzman, and today I want to show you how you can build, demo, an app, prototype, even if you're not a developer, especially if you are, with 4 amazing new tools that Google just dropped on us on the last Google I/O 2025. I was sitting there and I was really surprised to see that there are 4 different type of tools, all of them using Gemini 2.5 Pro right now, and they're all doing almost the same. But I will take you to the journey today just to show you that they are not doing the same actually, and you should know all of them. I will start with the tools that you don't have to be a developer to create something, and I will move forward. You have the timeline, but if you're a developer, stick around because I'm actually using the non-developers tools more than I'm using the developers tools, and I will show you why. So let's just start. The first thing that we really need to know about is the prompts, okay? There is no one prompt to build an app. I'm sorry, there is nothing like this right now. We are in mid-2025. Maybe in the future there will be, but the technology today is not good enough. And you need to give more than just one line of, I want you to build this app, blah, 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 and that's it. You need to do something a little bit deeper than that in order to get a good result, a good quality result. So let me take you first from my process. This process will go with all of the different tools and also from other companies' tools that help you build apps. So let's start. I'm going to start with Gemini, and you can do it with any other favorite chatbot you have. You can do it with Claude, you can do it with ChatGPT, whatever. This is just to prepare the prompt. This is not building the app yet. And I always start with just describing what I'm going to do. I used to start with you are software developers, architect, expert, 10 years of whatever. I don't think with Gemini you need to do it anymore. There's other models that you might need. So I'm just declaring what we're going to do here. I'm going to develop an app, and this app going to be built by an AI agent. And I want you to help me write the prompt. So this is just like the declaration of everything. And then I start to describe the app. Now, the idea of the app comes from my daughter. She's writing books, and she said that she really could use an app that help her find alternative words. So she sometimes have a word that you want to find different words for it, or sometimes you have a description and you want to find the right word that will just go in the book. So I said, okay, that's a great idea. We sat together to describe the app. We want to give a word and then get some suggestions. And I also told that I don't want to have a backend. I just want to have a front end. Technically, I could have a backend, but this is an app only for my daughter. I don't need backend. I don't need user. From my point of view, this is a one user app. That's it. Also, editing, don't write code because some of them chat agent automatically said, oh, let me just put some code inside of it. And I don't want to see any code. I just want to get a prompt. So I'm specifying it over here. And then I'm adding my magic line. If you saw my previous video, you already know that I'm asking the machine to ask me questions that will help it generate a better prompt for me. Okay, this is very critical because if you just take this description, it's not enough. And you will see that in a second that it's not enough. So I'm actually telling the machine, look, this is what I'm thinking about, but ask me more questions so you will have more clarity on what you need to build. And in our case, of course, it's a prompt. So as you can see, I got an answer, and then I got a list of questions starting from, okay, so I also described the option of alternative words and get a word out of description. So it now look at each case differently and asking, okay, if that's an alternative word, should it be synonymous? Should it be synonymous? Should it be replaced? Or a lot of different type of options. I actually didn't even thought about it. And when my daughter saw it, said, oh yeah, I want this, I want that, I don't need that. That's fine. And then we moved on with the question, and he also had some other question about if I'm getting like a line, should I get only single words or more than one words? And all those questions we answer. He went to how the user interface and the user experience should be. And we also had some answering over there. And very importantly, he actually asked me, what should I do when there is an error? Because I didn't specify that in the original prompt. I never thought about error. So it's very good that it asked me because I need to decide what will be the behavior of the app if something went wrong. Let's say it's asking for the words, get an error, or get no words. Someone needs to decide what's going to be. I don't want to leave it to the model to think for me and create something that maybe I won't like in the end. So it got all that, and then it got some surprise question like, what's the name of the app? So we had to stop and say, oh, we didn't talk about the name. So we found the name. And then it also asked me like, can you give me like example of other websites or app that you like their design? Now, this is a brilliant question. Many years ago, when I was building websites for customers, that was like one of the top questions that I always ask. After I ask everything that the customers want to have in the website, I always told them, give me a few examples of websites that you really like. And those websites I would say send to my designer. And then we try to design something that's familiar to the customer's favorite design, let's say. So the fact that he asked me that here was really surprising and really good. As you can see, we already gave a lot of answer here. I didn't want to spend time on this video, so this is already made. And then I got a prompt, as I expected. So I could take this prompt right now and start working with it, but wait a second. I want Gemini, the chat Gemini, to be the first to develop this app. So that's going to be the first tool that we're going to use. What I did next also helped me for later on is I asked it to create a requirement document, because requirement document is something that this is the standard in the industry. This is what we're doing before we're starting to build up. And by going into these details, I can actually find out that it really understands what I want with this app, or even fix it if I see that it didn't get it well, and then add it to the original prompt. So I went through all that. That looked fine for me. And then I wanted to help me with the design of the app. Okay. There's few options here that you can go. What I did is I clicked the canvas, so it could help me with the design. The first thing that I got from all of this is the documentation for designers. So this is a description for designer to see how you should design the app. Now we have color palette and other options, but that's okay. I'm not going to really use it. Wait, you know what? I'm going to show you something also. Let's just take this document from here. And instead of me asking Gemini to design it, there is another tool that Google released and announced in the I/O, which is called Stitch. This is a new tool that Google announced in I/O 25, and it's for developers to just have a quick sketch of the app you want to build. I can show you for the app that we're building right now, I already tried two different options. So the standard mode, you just go to the top so you will see the beginning of all of that. Yeah, we got something like that. So we have 3 different options on the user journey, and I can like it or not. I can change the theme here. And what's really nice about it is that if I choose one of them, I can actually look at the code that create this template, and I can copy and use it in my own code, or just send it to someone else to continue working on it. And if I have a designer, I can actually copy the Figma and send that to the designer to continue. But this is like a beginning of the concept of the design of what we need. But let me just move forward, because I don't want to use this tool right now. I just want to let Gemini to do everything in one place. So I can continue here and say, okay, can you please design it for me with the canvas open? And then he already made some kind of a design. You can already see that this is a different design than what we saw with the Sketch tool, because that's the thing here, each tool working a little bit differently with the model. So we will get different results. And after it did all that, I just came and said, could you build it for me? And if I'm open this one right now, you can see that I have something that looks like an app. And if I come here and say joy, it's actually working. So it already built an app that's working. If I want, I can click here and see the code. This is the code that runs this page. This is a website actually. And I can also share it. So this is like from idea to prompt to something that is already work. Now, if you're not a developer and you just want to build something that works, this is a great thing for you. So whether it's a learning tool or anything that is still on not too much complex of an app, you can probably build it right now just with Gemini. You don't need any other tools. And once again, you can share it with the developing team and they can take it from there. So if you, I don't know, a product and you have a great idea and you all the time asking for the developer team to build it for you and they're not doing that, just build a demo by yourself, show it to your boss, get their approval, and just send it to the development department and say, look, this is what we really need to do. Now build it to our standard, to our design, to our security needs, whatever. But we already have an app. Okay, we already have an app with Gemini. Let's go to the next tool. The next tool is AI Studio. I don't know if you're familiar with AI Studio so far, but the idea with AI Studio is pretty simple. This is a place to try and play with whatever Google thrown us on the AI spectrum. So if you want to try the latest, or not even the latest Google model, Gemini 1.5 Flash or 2.5 or whatever, this is where you're going. This is where you can just put your prompt there and try it. And what's really nice about it, let's just say, what is the moon? So I'm just playing with prompts here. What's really nice about AI Studio is that AI Studio also gives you an ability to look at the code behind the scenes. So you're not only trying it here and see whether the model can handle what you need from it, you can also just look at the code, design different type of languages. So if you want to have it on the web, no problem. Now you have it on the web. Just copy it from here or go and look at the API documents and learn how to do it. So it's very easy to build something or this to play and then once again send it to the developer teams and ask them to build something for you. But we're here not for this part, we're here for the build area. And in the build area, we can actually start building up. So let me go back here and we don't need this anymore. Let's just get the original prompt that we built, right? The one from here. So let me just copy this prompt. Great. Go back to Studio and I'm just asking it, just pasting it over here and build. So as you can see now, it starts building an app for me. Now, it do take a while. I just cut this video. But he starts writing code. I don't really want to get into the code because let's say I'm not a developer, but it feels like I'm inside the developer environment. So I could probably change whatever I need, but I'm no hands. Look, it's doing everything for us right now. And you also have like a task list in the side. And if you want to understand what he's doing, yeah, you can open it over here and see all the thinking process, what he was actually going through in order to figure out how to build this app. But so far, this is just running. I don't have to do anything. He already found an error. Nice. Now he's fixing it. Once again, I'm doing nothing. I'm just here with you. Let me just save us some time and jump to the end. I promise you, I'm not touching anything. Okay, it's done. And we got an app. And now let's see if it's running. So let's go in here, write joy. Okay, I don't like that this is dark green, but we can fix that in a second. I like the animation though. Okay, it's not working. And look, it didn't work, but automatically he says that it found 3 errors. Should I auto fix it? Yeah, let's fix it. Okay, I got another option here. Once again, I cut the video a little bit so you won't have to wait. So join. We got an answer. Yes, we got answers. Now you have to agree with me. That's look much better than what we saw before, right? If I click on it, okay, it's already put it on the copy it. Now I can put it here and I ask for the second word. That's look fantastic. We just said here the font color on the field is dark. Could you just make it white? Okay, let's see if it will work. Yeah, it worked. Amazingly. So we have an app that's running, but it's not done yet. Because from here, you could already guess that you can share it with other people and they can play with it, right? Yeah, sure. But if you're sharing it from here, they will also be exposed to some of the secrets that you have inside of it. So if you have an API key in here, it will be exposed to everyone. So if that's internal for your family or for your developer team, no problem. But if you want to actually make it a product, then we have this button over here. In this button, we can deploy to Cloud Run. Now, if you don't know Cloud Run, this is part of Google Cloud, and this is a service that you can deploy application or any other stuff, and it's already ready to handle millions of users. It's just a click of a button and everything will be fine. So I'm just clicking over here. It will ask me to select the right project in my Google Cloud account. If you don't have an account, you should find a YouTube video that will show you how to do it. It's pretty easy, but you do need a credit card. And I think you're getting $300 free when you register. That's more than enough than what you need. But anyway, it's on you. And then once you will select the project, it will deploy. It will give you a URL, a link that you can use, and you will have this app running. I want to show you something because I already ran this with my daughter before. I want to show you that same prompt. I think we didn't have any error the last time we ran it, but it's a different result. So let me just get the URL for her. Okay, so this is the app we built with the same tool. Let me just put Joy again. There you go. So it looked the same in a way. It behaves the same. Here, if I click here, it will copy it. So everything is working fine. Same prompt, which means if you got something that you don't really like, just do it again. But if you also saw, let's say this thing, you can, and you said, okay, it's the same logic behind the scene, but I do like this design better. Just take a snapshot of this design, go back to Builder, add this image over here, and then tell it, I like this design better, could you change it? And it will change it for you. So I'm not going to do it right now. You can do it by yourself, but it will work. So this is a developer environment that you don't need to be a developer in order to do something in it, which is, I think, pretty nice. But we're not done yet. Let's go to the third tool. Oh, wait. Am I jumping one? Yeah, so we were in AI Studio. Let's try Firebase Studio. I'm going to take the same prompt as before. Let's just copy it from here. It will be easier. The same prompt, Firebase Studio. Firebase Studio is another tool. It used to be called IDX, but this was running for a year, and now they decided to integrate it into the Firebase area. So let me first show you a project that I built with IDX. That was before they're integrated into or evolve into Firebase Studio. The concept of Firebase Studio is that this is a developer environment that's living in the cloud. So you don't have to have a developer computer to actually write code. This is actually, I think, the first time that you really can only buy Chromebook and be a developer, which is like a very cheap computer that only run Android operating system. So I restart this over here. As you can see in the environment, this is an old project. I think I already did a video about this project, and now it's just starting the emulators. This project is written in Flutter, so it can run web, it can run Android, it can run iOS, whatever you need. Let's start with the web first. So yeah, you can see the app is over here and I can do whatever the app's doing. Let's not get into the details because that's not the important part of this video. But yeah, it's a working app, and I also have Gemini inside. So if I want to keep or work with the code with Gemini, I can do it from here. This code was built in a whole different way. But let's go back to our project, and we want to start the new app, and we already have our prompt. So let's put it in here and start prototyping. So this one worked a little bit different than we saw before. First of all, it created this, I don't even know how to call it. So this is like a plan, a prototype for a plan, or a plan for a prototype, sorry. And it already tells us what's the main feature that it's going to implement, which element going to need AI. So this one's going to use Gemini inside of it. We have the color palette, we have the layout, which font's going to be used. So we're getting like a pre-understanding of which technology it's going to use. It's also going to say that it's going to use Gemini and GenKit, and it's going to do it with TypeScript, Next.js, and CSS or something, and you can read all of that. So if I'm not really happy with the results, I can continue the discussion with it and tell it, no, I don't want it with TypeScript. I want it with something else or whatever. So don't have to start building anything before you approve the plan, which we didn't really had it before. So yeah, let's say I'm happy with it. Let's move on. Okay, so we see that it starts writing code. I believe it will take it a moment to write all of it. So let me just pause the video and move you to the future. Okay, so it took it more than a moment. But then we got an app and we already have an issue. So let me click on the issue over here and I see that it's got a bug here. Fine, just fix it. Let's see if we can fix it somewhere. Oh, I know what's the bug. The bug is that I need to enter my Gemini API key, which it doesn't have here. So in order to do that, I could go to AI Studio and click here on Get Keys. Okay, create new key. Okay, so I will do that without you looking at my keys. Great. We still have an error. What's the error now? Okay, I'm looking at the error. I'm not even going to read it because he detected the error, fixed it for me. So you got experience two tools today that both of them wrote code that didn't work, but then they're fixing it. So yeah, it's not always like that. Sometimes the code is working from the get-go, sometimes need to be fixed. Anyway, let's try it. Love. Yes. And we got an answer. Now, once again, let's just see that this is working. Yeah, it copied it, can paste it, that's fine. So we got a working app, but not only that we got a working app, we can still modify it from here and change the design or change whatever we need. But once we are ready, we can go and just edit the code and go back to the coding. So let me just click that. Now I'm getting into the Firebase Studio, into the main product that is developer environment. This is an IDE. And now I can see the entire code. I can work on it. I can change it. I can run it. I can do whatever I can do. I think it's all based on the VS Code. So if you don't like VS Code, I'm sorry. Tough luck. That's what it is. Few things that you probably already noticed. If I'm going back to build, you see the name of the app. So that's the name that my daughter gave it. From some odd reason, Firebase Studio decided to give it a different name. Don't ask me why. It's the same prompt. And I have to say about Firebase Studio, it got its mind of its own, and sometimes it's very hard to convince him on the first prompt. Later on, it's very easy. If I will go now, open Gemini over here with the code assist and just tell it to change the name of the app, it will be no problem. But I've been in a situation that even in the prompt, I asked him to start a Flutter project, and he decided to do it as a Next.js project and stuff like that. So it's a little bit not mature on the first prompt, but then it got better. And I'm sure that the Google team is working on fixing that and making sure that the next iteration or next version of this tool, it will probably listen to you a little bit better. At least I hope they do. And if not, that's my request for them. So that's another tool, very powerful one that you can use. But let's move to the last tool that we have. And the last tool is Jules. Jules wasn't supposed to be originally in this video because it's not exactly the same as the other tools that I showed you. This tool is supposed to run asynchronously in the background, connecting straight to our GitHub repository and just help us finish tasks. So if you have bugs, if you have small feature that you need to change, if you want to write documentation to something that you just deployed, Jules is the perfect agent for that. So once you're getting connected to the repository, you can just give it a short task and it will do it. But I decided to do it anyway, just to show you how it can also create a project from scratch. So I already connected it to the GitHub. I already created a repository, an empty repository. So there's no branches here. There's nothing here. Let's go back and copy the prompt, right? And now we can paste it in here and give me a plan. So it sounds weird that Google will build for, let's say, 3 different tools here that do exactly the same things, but this is not the first time that I see different teams in Google using the same infrastructure to build something that is look the same. And eventually one of them is winning and becoming an official or the last tool that we're using, and the rest just disappeared over time. But why do we got three different main tools? I'm ignoring Gemini, the chat. That's like an obvious. But the three tools that we talked about, why do we get all of them now? I think Gemini 2.5 Pro is a huge jump for generating code. I don't think there's a strongest model in the market right now who can write and understand code better than Gemini 2.5 Pro. Next in line is Claude 4. But after that, the rest are very far away. Of course, it depends on your writing language, on your environments, or what you do. Some of them might have a little bit advantage in specific area, but in general, from what I tested, Gemini is supreme to all the other. And I think once they achieve that level, a lot of different teams inside Google said, oh, we can build something that user can enjoy. And this is, I think, why we're now seeing like three different tools that can just get a prompt and build a tool. Okay, let's see what Jules did. So first of all, he created a plan, as we saw before. He's saying that's the steps of the plan. And if there's something that need to go deeper, then we have more description of what's the plan to go deeper. And then he asks us if we have any changes to do. We can actually continue the conversation or apply the plan. So let's apply the plan. So why did I put these tools at the end? Because this tool is, if the rest of the tools could be used by people that are not developers, you already saw I achieved something without even understanding anything about the developer's world. These tools, first of all, you must understand GitHub, which is, well, an environment that you need to learn, first of all. And second, once we're getting an answer, I cannot run it immediately. I'm just getting the code here, and what it's actually allowing me is to deploy it back to the repository on GitHub. So if you're using GitHub page, you can actually see it, and I will show you that in a second, but I don't think user who doesn't have understanding of our developer environment could actually play with this tool and get a demo up and running, okay? The advantage of this thing is that if you already have a repository that have some kind of a problem, you don't have to start adding tools to your own developer environment in order to change or update or fix something. You can just connect Jules to your repository, give the command, go to sleep. It will do everything you need to do by itself. And then in the morning, you probably will have a fix for that. So I think that probably will be the advantage of Jules. I'm not saying that you don't have other tools that can do that. You do, but that's their attempt to handle this type of development. Okay, so once again, I shorted the video a little bit so it won't be too long. I let it run and it already got me a code here, and now it just publish branch. I'm publishing the branch, and let's click view branch. So as you can see here, it already put a README file, which is nice. That explains what the code's doing, and I have all the code in here. Let's just make sure that we have GitHub pages. Okay, so I set the GitHub pages, and now we can open it and we can see that we have the app running. Let's just try to join. Of course, it's not working. Guess what? We don't have the key here, so I guess that's the problem. I could probably go straight over here and just probably over here. So I will probably need to put the key over here, but this is a public repository, so I'm not going to put my key inside here. But it will probably work if I will put it. But once again, we can see the design. We can get it, the hint. It's probably working. I hope. I don't know. Tell you later. But yeah, that was 4 tools, 1 company. Now, before I finish, I want to understand why it's so important to know those tools, especially as a developers. But let's start as a non-developer. I gave AI Studio to my family, to my friend, and asked them to start playing with it. Because I think for most of the simple application that they're doing, the little thing in life, you saw my daughter, she just needed something that will find her new words. This is a simple task. Yeah, she can do it with Google. She can probably do it with Gemini. She can go there, but she just wanted an app, something simple, clicking one thing, writing a word, getting an answer. That's it. It's a simple task. And now she can build an app for it. And I want to encourage my children to learn how to build stuff for themselves, how to build tools that will help them on the daily life. And I can tell you the other children find great ideas for stuff that they need. And that's a beginning, because once they know how to define what they need, creating it will be much more easier than now. It's already easy, but it's going to be even easier. But if we don't teach our children how to think about what they need and how to define those things, they won't be able to do it. And I think that's what, at least for me, that's my responsibility as a parent, to teach them those things. As a developer, I have to admit, weekend project, all my weekend project now, I'm not the one who's writing the code for them. It's Gemini is doing all the work for me. And I love it because I have so much crazy ideas that I want to build, but I never have the time. And now I just need to work on the prompt, on the requirement, and a little bit about the design, because usually I don't care about the design. I just want it to work. And then I'm let Gemini to do all the rest of the thing. And I know how to select the right tool for the right task. So if I need something that is more an app, I will go to AI Studio. But if I need something that is, a backend test that I'm doing or some crazy API, I could probably use Jules for that, and it will be fine. So that's on this area. But also at work, sometimes I'm finding myself thinking, I want to try something. I'm not sure if it's going to work. I don't want to touch my code base. Let me just make like a small pilot. And those tools are very good with small pilots. So you can use that as well. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that. If you learned something new, please like, subscribe, and share with other people. Till next time. See you.